hyping up ever since media days here. South Carolina at Kentucky. And hey, I mean, if you're at the Gamecock, Shane, you could not have asked for a better situation. Obviously, devastating hurricane, not making light of that, but that kicked your game to Thursday. That means you got extra time to prepare for Kentucky. Kentucky's coming off a tough road loss, their first loss of the season. You just can never tell how these college players are going to react to losing their first ball game. It's a night game. It's a sellout, to my knowledge, up there, Kroger Field. It's going to be a great environment. I'm not downplaying that at all. But, man, this is a matchup. And Kentucky fans, they get pissed off that anyone even suggests that South Carolina can win this game. And rightfully so. They own the Gamecocks, 7 of the last 8. But this is a game, Shane, where South Carolina, they've not lived up to the hype to this point. This is like a season saver if they can go on the road and pull off this massive upset. And we haven't even mentioned the damn stupid sunglasses comment, all that back and forth. These two staffs hate each other. I cannot wait for this. This is going to be a great game, I think.
Oh yeah, it's at nighttime too, brother. And I think one of the crazy things about this game or this matchup is that off-field banter. It's a big deal, brother. It is a big. These are player coaches. And when the players feed off the coach's energy, which they do if they're that close, then this becomes personal to them. So here's a Kentucky team that got hurt. They got embarrassed. They got punched in front of their girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? These guys are pissed. They're not mad. They are freaking pissed off right now. So, a lot of times you think of this as kind of a trap game. I don't think that's not the vibe I'm picking up. I'm picking up from Kentucky that they let one slip away and they're totally embarrassed. Right. And that's dangerous sometimes because they really want to make a statement the week after. South Carolina, again, it's important for them. They had more time to prepare for this thing. They still got they got things they got to work out, but what South Carolina is good at, Kentucky's good at stopping, and that's my only fear in this game is that the matchup couldn't be better for the Wildcats. But the script is out. What didn't work against Ole Miss, maybe that's something that they can put into their playbook and make work. But this, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I follow too many Kentucky fans and I'm starting to feed off their negative vibes. But like I said, they hate South Carolina. I never knew this until, this season started, that there was kind of that hatred, but it just got magnified. And I guarantee it's being brought up in that locker room day in, day out.
Right. And I'll say this, Shane, if Kentucky can't run against South Carolina, which is currently one of the weakest run defenses in the SEC, man, they have really got issues. We got Chris Rodriguez back. He looked like an animal against Ole Miss, breaking tackles, and I mean, he's the only one I've ever seen, Shane, gets hit and he gets like 5. He falls for 5 yards. I don't know how in the hell he does it, but he does it damn near every carry he gets. It is important. This is a huge game for South Carolina, but it's equally, if not more important, for Kentucky, Shane, because they got to prove that, hey, that we could have won Ole Miss, came down to the wire, we made a mistake here or there, but if we clean up a couple things, we beat ourselves. That's what they should be telling themselves. We beat ourselves that week. Let's not let that happen again. Let's run the table. And you may mock that, Shane, but here we just saw Georgia struggle on the road at Missouri. So if I'm Kentucky, probably on their flight back, they're saying, my God, Georgia about got beat by Missouri. We can beat these guys. We get them at home. That's got to give them a little bit of lift as well. But you just got to hope that Will Levis, his finger, is not damaged or anything. Mark Stoops, let's kick it over to him, Shay. It doesn't require surgery, but, I mean, this is one of the best lines Mark Stoops has ever had right here.
You talked about the belief earlier in this team, but I know if you kind of go through your time at Kentucky, the losses can one can turn into two. So how do you keep the belief high? Do you gloss over the mistakes? Do you hammer forward with it? How do you keep them?
No, I mean we'll just it'll be very business-like today. I mean these guys are mature and can handle it. We'll coach them. We'll show them the good, the bad, in the areas where we fell short. I think I'm really not. I mean, I will coach against it and guard against it and talk about it, but one of the first things I said in the locker room was one can't become two. Just everybody's heated and emotional in a big game like that, and our guys know. The belief is there. I think the intensity needs to come back as you get into Game 6. We 6, right? Yeah. You get into Game 6 without a break, and then we're getting banged up. And we have to make sure I find the right balance of continuing to play with that edge, play with the intensity, and continue to try to improve on being physical. I think we are improving, and but also have enough juice in the tank. As you get down, into the middle of this section before we get a break. Get a little bye to try to get some guys healed up.
Do you have an update on Jaquez? And I know Will finished the game, but how's the finger?
Pardon me?
I know Will finished the game, but how is the finger?
It's fine. I don't know. How would your finger be if it was sideways and you put it back in? And you know what I mean? But it doesn't need surgery. Let's put it that way. So that's a great thing. Yeah.
Mark, with the offensive line, I think some people expected in the summer you'd boost that in the portal like you did the secondary. Is that just a position where it's harder to find impact transfers, or were you really comfortable with everything you had there?
Well, I think, we were, obviously exploring options, and, I think with, some of the things we've gone through without going through, what we went through with John, was tough. And then we had turnover, that doesn't exactly put you in the best position, but that's no excuse. We got guys that are plenty capable. There's things that we could do better and coach better and play better, and there's some things that they're really improving on, doing some really good things. It's a shame Flaxey went down later because I thought he was physical as heck and starting to really move people and play hard, and so I think that was coming together, better. Sorry, John.
I was just going to ask how you thought you played overall.
Yeah, I think, we you look at it and you give up, 3 sacks against a team, again, that was bringing it from all over. And, it just comes down to, as I tell the team, I've told you, there's 1 or 2 plays that can change the outcome of a game, but it's not always the most obvious ones. It's not just the ones that everybody, can remember. There's things that happen in that game that, we have a screen, we have pressure, we dump it, we have a hat on a hat. I'm not saying it's a definite touchdown, but there's a really good chance that's going to be a touchdown. And it's not. Instead, I believe we get 0. So those are the things, you just can't do. In a really good 2 top 10, top 15 teams playing on the road in the SEC, I know it's a broken record, but it's true. It's just the execution of things like that, and that's routine. When you have a routine play, dialed up, set, and do it, and you got to make the routine look routine, and so it's just things of that nature that we just fell short.
Does it feel okay?
Now, the other side, Shane, like I said, hey, the Gamecocks, they're feeling good. Back-to-back blowouts. Now, you didn't play anybody with a pulse, but they come into the season, we were as guilty as anybody, Shane, hyping this team up. That was probably the most hyped team at media days on what is to come for the Gamecocks. Did not live up to that massive hype, but they put that behind them. It has not led to a slide. Sometimes these teams, Shane, they come out, they don't live up to the hype, and then they're just garbage, and they can never get over the hump. This is South Carolina's opportunity to right the ship, because no one cares what you do against South Carolina State and Charlotte and all that. You're supposed to kill those teams. So, you killed them, good for you. Here's a cookie. But this is what you got to do. You got to get over Kentucky. Otherwise, this is just the same old South Carolina where, maybe they could be the 4th best team in the East. You're at the bottom till you can overcome Kentucky, because you got also Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, all that in front of them. But I'll tell you, Shane Beamer seems pretty loose, feeling pretty good. And if they can get Spencer Rattler to playing a little bit better. I mean, this is a dangerous, dangerous team, don't you think?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, you cannot we watched Missouri and Georgia go toe to toe last week. I mean, how can you can't sleep on any team right now, especially South Carolina. You know, things haven't been going great. You know, obviously we're beating cupcake teams. That's what we're expecting, but we're also expecting you to win games like Kentucky. We're also expecting you to win games like Missouri. You know, these games are coming up. There's going to be some games that if you play great, you can win. And I think that's where South Carolina wasn't, but I think that's where they are now. Is that this is a program that if you come in there expecting to win, or you don't practice near as hard, you're gonna walk away, you know, with a loss and wondering, where did we screw up here? That's the Gamecocks have got some weapons, brother. They have got plenty of talent. I really think this Lloyd's really starting to take off. SEC starting to notice just how great he is. If they could keep that going and get some Spencer some confidence and maybe a little bit of chemistry with these receivers, who knows? Anything can happen in the SEC, you know. But again, on the other side, brother, you got the Kentucky Wildcats, and if I'm Coach Stoops, I'm saying, man, we could still go to the SEC championship. I know that sounds crazy, but we're still a top 15 team. We lost to Ole Miss. We blew that one. But if we went out and we beat the Georgia Bulldogs, we beat Tennessee Vols, we beat South Carolina this week, we can easily go to Atlanta and redeem ourselves. So you're not out anything. This game is sold out. It's a night game. It's a 2-score favorite. It's going to be electric. So be sure to tune into this one, because I think we got ourselves a little dogfight here.
Well, and let's kick it over to Beamer Shane, who again, he seems pretty loose going. I mean, he's making fun of Nick Saban. He's telling recruiting stories. I mean, this is a good old time right here.
Hey Shane, the fans seem to have this one circled for a while now. Whether it's the comments from Mark Stoops in the offseason, or losing 7 out of the last 8 to Kentucky. Do you guys feel that too? That this one seems to be a little bit more important?
They're all important. That's not coach speak. I mean, it's anytime you get back in the SEC, it's critical as well. And we've got great respect for their program. And this is a game that was a big game when I was here before. I mean, I remember, I think I talked about it last week, was the Kentucky coming in here nationally ranked on a Thursday night and us winning. And then all you guys that were here remember, I mean, we beat Alabama. They were number 1 in the country. And then I'm still having visions of Randall Cobb on 4th down or whatever it was on a game-winning touchdown pass. I mean, this game's always been competitive, and I think it's 2 programs that have a lot of respect, for each other. And it's certainly a critical game for us. It's the next one on the schedule. And we had a heck of a game with them last year and couldn't quite finish and get over the hump and win that game. And I know our guys are excited for the challenge this week.
Shane, I know you told us that before the Charlotte game, you told the guys to go out and just have fun. Mm-hmm. Okay, now you've had 2 blowout wins. So I guess I want to know, are the guys a little more relaxed now? Are they having more fun? Not that they weren't having fun before, but just being able to enjoy themselves a little more, especially during games.
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. I felt like those first 3 games, not that there was pressure on us, but it was almost like feeling like you had to make every play and not being able to just go relax and have fun. And we want to work really, really hard during the week and prepare really, really well during the week so that we can go out on Saturdays and just turn it loose and have fun and not worried about making mistakes. And I think our guys have done that the last couple of weeks, and this week will be no different. You prepare really, really hard, but Saturday night, SEC Saturday night game, under the lights, on the road, national television. I mean, what more could you want? I mean, that should be exciting and should be fun. And want our guys to have fun playing with each other and playing with passion and celebrating with each other as well. And now you got to go play well in order to do that. But I think so, Rick. I mean, I think they've they know that we have a good football team and we haven't played our best, and we're still striving to play our best on all three phases. And next Saturday night's the next opportunity, and I think our guys are excited to go do that.
Yeah, just talking about Kentucky a little bit. They've got 3 wide receivers that they throw to quite a lot of speed on the outside. How are you guys going about defending it? And I guess what are you telling your safeties and DBs this week?
Yeah, you want me to be like Coach Saban yesterday when he got asked that question about what he was going to do with the quarterback, and he's like, "What do you want me to do? Give you the plan?" Similar. No, we were looking at him, and then Dane Key, we tried to recruit here last year, and felt like we had a good opportunity until I got word that when Florida beat Kentucky, or when Kentucky beat Florida last year, that Dane's mom was at the game and leaped over the wall and like broke her foot or something storming the field after Kentucky beat Florida. So I felt like we had a pretty good chance. But note to self, like when the recruit's mom injures a foot storming the field, you're probably not going to get that guy at your school. That's the story I was told. So if that's not true, I'm sorry, Miss Key, but that's what I heard. But he's a great young man, and those 3 guys.
So you get a good sense of that he's loose for what that's worth. If his team is this loose, Shay, this is why I think South Carolina has. I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but I'm saying I like the odds of them playing better than we've seen them against the likes of Georgia and Arkansas, if that makes sense.
No, I do too, and this, like, I don't know how many times we got to say it. The crazy thing is when they do shine, it usually is against a team that nobody's watching,
right?
And then when we watch them against Georgia, we're like, golly, South Carolina sucks, or it's like you're not giving. They have got some playmakers, they just have not had opportunities to exploit that against better teams, but just as soon as you count a program like that out, they come, like I said, they come out and they punch you in the mouth. So I think you cannot sleep on the Gamecocks. They've had plenty of time to think about this game, talk about this game plan. This is a big game for South Carolina. This is a game that Beamer probably isn't supposed to win, but he knows if he does, it's going to get him a lot of good graces back home. So this is a very, very important game for them as well. So that's why I just think it's going to be a dogfight, because South Carolina has nothing to lose. Kentucky's the one that has things to lose. You know what I'm saying? Right. Gamecocks are just out there to have fun and try to win some games and upset some teams, man.
Now,